headquarters of its most deadly terror proxy, that is Lashkar-e-Taiba. Remember, in May at 12:35 a.m. The date was 7th of May 2025. The time was 12:35 a.m. The Indian Air Force executed Operation Sindoor with precision. In that successful operation, Lashkar's Lashkar-e-Taiba headquarters in Muridke near Lahore had taken a hit. As per sources, inside the 1.9-acre complex, there were 3 core buildings that suffered, that took the hit. We're going to show you these exclusive images, which is part of this dossier. There is an accommodation block that stored weapons that was destroyed. There were 2 yellow structures there that were called ul Quora, that were also training facilities for, commanders and also their residences. Those were flattened, and those are the pictures on your screens. The damage was so severe and so punishing that only skeletal remains survived, as you can see on your screens. But now, let's tell you what we know. Let's tell you the exclusive details that we've accessed, and my colleague Rishabh is joining us on this broadcast. Rishabh, as per this super secret dossier that you've accessed, we are getting to, know, and we are showing this undeniable sabooth of Pakistan's complicity, how the rogue state is helping Lashkar rebuild its headquarters by giving crores in funding. As per the dossier that you've accessed, Hafiz Saeed's terror puppets have started a systematic demolition and rebuilding drive. And we know that on the 18th of August, there were 5 JCBs that were moved in. On the 20th of August, there was a part of one of the building that was hit in, Muridke, that is known as ul Quora, that was razed. And then this month itself, on the 4th, there was a building that was torn down. And on the 7th of September, there was an attempt made to demolish everything, flatten, so that a rebuilding project starts. What more do you know? Tell us everything about this rebuilding project of terror headquarters that Lashkar has undertaken with the help of the Pakistani state, with funds that the Pakistani state is giving to the terror group.
Well, Sagarika, if we talk about Lashkar-e-Taiba's Markaz, this is in Muridke, and in Muridke, Pakistan would have never thought that Indian Air Force will penetrate so deep and hit something like Muridke as well. But on 7th of May at around 12:35 a.m. or so, what we got to know was that India has hit Muridke, and Muridke was hit to a tune that it was demolished and destroyed to a level that without demolition, the reconstruction was not possible. From 18th of May, what we were given to understand that the demolition 18th of August, what we are given to understand that the demolition began. A concerted effort was done to demolish whatever was left after IF fight, IF attack, and from 20th of August further, constructions have begun. It is being done under Maulana Abuzar, who is director of this Markaz, who is also known as the Ustadul Mujahideen, along with Commander Yusuf Shah Bukhari. These are the 2 senior Lashkar-e-Taiba commanders. But here is not the news. The news is that how is this built? Pakistan has given 4 crore Pakistani rupees. Remember, the same Pakistan who doesn't have money to feed their population, to ensure, healthcare facility for the population, is paying 4 crore Pakistani rupees to Lashkar-e-Taiba to rebuild this terror hub. And in a way, and how is it done? It is being done basically via crowdfunding on the name of flood. And then you'll see these Lashkar-e-Taiba activists or terrorists, for that matter, going to these flood relief camp, doing token, and then using that fund to rebuild the terror hub.
Okay.
Now, what we're going to understand that LET will require 15 crore, to a tune of 15 crore Pakistani rupees to rebuild their markers, and now that all will come from Pakistan. So, destroyed by IF, now being rebuilt by Islamabad.
So, there are 3 parts of the story that we are breaking here for our viewers. Number one, a rebuilding project of sorts has been undertaken by the Pakistani state, where the ISI and Lashkar, they are going ahead, they are, completely reducing that entire complex in Muridke to rubble so that they can rebuild and make maybe a more swanky terror headquarters. So as of now, as we speak, we have sabut of how there is debris clearance that is underway. Sources are even telling us about the phases. There are going to be brand new facilities for Lashkar that are going to be ready very soon. The deadline given by the ISI is 5th of February 2026. Why 5th of February 2026? Rishabh, I want you to tell our viewers about the significance of the deadline that has been given, and then we'll also tell our viewers about how flood relief, how in the name of flood relief, funds are being accumulated to rebuild terror havens in Pakistan once again. But why 5th February 2026, Rishabh, if you can tell our viewers again?
So, if we talk about the date that has been given, we need to understand something. If we talk about Lashkar-e-Taiba, if we talk about ISI, they have February as an importance, and centrality of this terror hub remains with February, and that's the reason that 5th of February has been given. Apart from that, if we talk about the way things have happened and how this money is being taken, there is flood in the province of Punjab, the Pakistani Punjab, north of Sindh and south of their part of Kashmir as well, our part which has been held illegally by them for last 7 decades. And all these areas, there is a flood, and on the name of flood relief, thousands and lakhs of rupees is being received. It is being crowdfunded. Penny of that is being given as token to showcase the world that no, this is not being taken by Lashkar. It is being done for the people, and then that money is being used. So in a way, and this is not something that has happened for the first time. Earlier also, on the name of earthquake, on the name of a flood, money has been crowdfunded and has been used by Lashkar-e-Taiba for their own benefit.
Absolutely. Shinjoy Chaudhary, consulting editor, also joining us on this broadcast as we break down more details. Retired Major General Rajan Kochar also with us. I want to take this question to Major General Kochar. This is not surprising. We knew that Pakistan is going to spend money to rebuild Hafiz Saeed's, terror headquarters, to help resurrect what India destroyed in Operation Sindoor. But the question that many are asking, and the entire world should ask, why is the FATF silent when Pakistan repeats the same 2005 relief fund fraud to bankroll terror, Major General Kochar?
A very, very revealing information right in the morning, and it was on expected lines, as you rightly said, because Pakistan has not done away with its strategic objective of building a terror infrastructure within Pakistan. And whatever money Pakistan would like to divert in the name of floods or in the name of IMF loans also is being used by the ISI and the Pakistan government to fund their terror activities. And there is enough evidence on the part of India. We have made the dossiers, we have actually given it to the United Nations. But everybody seems to be silent on this, because one important factor is that Pakistan is getting closer to the United States. You talk about FATF. The very fact that Pakistan came out of FATF, in spite of those objections, there were 37 listed observations made when Pakistan was put in the FATF grey list. And according to my information, not all of those observations were ticked.
Right.
It implies that there was still evidence available to suggest that Pakistan should not have been moved out of the FATF list. So I think America has a very important role to play. As you are aware, General Munir has had two visits to America. And there has been a tacit agreement on various issues, because America needs Pakistan for Iran, because that is one a base which America would like to have, which is very, very close to Iran. The second aspect is in Baluchistan, America has got commercial interests, and we have heard of this crypto deal. So they are the vested interests on the part of America.
Absolutely.
To shield Pakistan, and even in this floods.
I want you to stay with us. I'm interjecting. I apologize because we also have retired Major General A.K. Siwaj joining us on this broadcast as we break down the details. Major General Siwaj, we are showing our viewers pictures and revealing details from a dossier that goes on to expose how Pakistan has not just undertaken a rebuilding project when it comes to Lashkar's terror bases that were demolished and flattened in Operation Sindoor, but the shocking information that we've accessed is that fraud, campaigns are being launched in the name of flood relief to collect funds. So the government of Pakistan initially said that they will give about 4 crores for this project that will also be overseen by the Pakistani army. To rebuild these terror headquarters, the Lashkar and other terror proxies, they need about 15 crore rupees. And the campaign that they're undertaking is that it is flood relief. They're doing crowdsourcing of sorts to get these funds to rebuild terror headquarters all in front of the entire world. There is proof. Why is it that the global community is now looking away?
Absolutely. I see the problem in as far as Pakistan is concerned. Majority of the countries, especially the US and Europe, they follow a double policy. And as far as US is concerned, basically it controls the financial institution like IMF, World Bank, and Financial Action Task Force. Now the point is they close their eyes because they fully know that Pakistan is totally involved in terrorism. Lashkar-e-Taiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed, the terrorist group, are being funded by the Pakistan, their headquarters in Pakistan, and it is sponsored terrorism which it is emanating from Pakistan, they are pushing toward India's side. See, the US know that it doesn't affect them because it is specific to India only, so they close their eyes. And that's how, as on today, what is happening is that on night of 6-7 May, that Lashkar-e-Taiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed and Hizbul Mujahideen headquarters were completely destroyed by us. At Muridke, Bawalpur and Muzaffarabad. Now they are collecting funds. They are collecting funds to construct this, and they are telling the world that they are collecting the money for the flood. So the point is that Jamaat-ul-Dawa, Falaih Infaniyat Foundation, which are the offshoot of Lashkar-e-Taiba, they are collecting a lot of money and they are collecting on the name of the flood. This is the double policy which is being adopted, and the West knows it. The USA knows
and it's not the first time that this has happened. The same modus operandi had taken place in the year 2005. Thank you so much, Major General Siwaj, for joining us with your viewpoint on this. But viewers, there are more details that we've accessed. Take a look at these pictures on your screens. Part 1 of our breaking news broadcast is how, terror headquarters of the Lashkar are being rebuilt. JCBs were sent in, a timeline has been sent, all those buildings that were demolished, they are now being reduced to rubble so that a reconstruction project can get underway. But who is supervising this operation? As per the details we've accessed, and Rishabh tells us that it is Maulana Abu Zar. Who is he? He's the chief trainer of the Lashkar, who's known as Ustad ul Mujahideen, and also another commander, Terror Commander Yunus Shah Bukhari. They are in charge of the operational oversight. Now, the training of terrorists has been shifted to temporary facilities. First it was, Markaz Aqsa, which was in Bawalpur, and since July, terror training is now also taking place in Markaz Yarmouk in Kasur district. These are damning details that we've accessed. All of these terror factories and jihad factories are being run by terrorists. There is a terrorist called Abdul Rashid Mozin, who's also a close aide of Lashkar top bosses. But the money trail becomes the most important part here, because the dossier goes on to reveal that how Islamabad earlier publicly committed to financing the reconstruction of these terror camps of Lashkar and Jaish. So by the 14th of August, the Pakistani government had already given out 4 crore rupees to Lashkar. Now the full rebuilding is expected to cost more than 15 crores, and the shortfall is being covered through fraud. The same 2005 playbook. Back then it was after the earthquake. Lashkar and Jamaat-ul-Dawa, raised billions for relief. At least 80% was diverted to terror infrastructure, and now we are getting to know in the name of flood relief. This is a cycle that's repeating. The Lashkar is running collection drives. We'll show you those pictures as well. Collection drives both online and offline. Take a look. That is how they are raising flood relief, where there are workers and cadres who are seen taking photographs alongside rangers and officials at these relief camps. And these floods are being diverted to rebuild the Muridke headquarters. Let me go across to Rishabh. Rishabh, we are also showing pictures of how these, fund collection camps are also underway. We know how these funds will be diverted to rebuild, terror headquarters in Pakistan once again. Now, this shows the complete complicity of the Pak army. Once again, viewers, take a look at these pictures, how this whole rebuilding strategy is taking place. We're going to tell you about the timeline as well. So on the 7th of May, that is when, these terror headquarters were hit. And as per Operation Sindoor, there were 3 core buildings that were completely destroyed. On 18th of August, Lashkar began raising the damaged structures. That is why JCBs were brought in. On the 4th of September, there were training blocks that were demolished so that the reconstruction begins. On the 7th of September, we're getting to know the accommodation block of Lashkar headquarters was raised. Now, what is the process that's underway? That is debris clearance process so that the rebuilding begins, and there's a deadline that has been set. That is 5th of February 2026, so that all this work gets complete. So by 2026, what was demolished by India in Operation Sindoor, Pakistan is trying to resurrect it with complete active support from the state. So state funds. We also have Major General Hafiz Saeed joining us. As these details come out, Major General Asthana, of how Pakistan is rebuilding terror headquarters brick by brick, how the state is involved, how the army is involved, and also the fraud that is going on. In the name of flood relief, funds are being collected on the ground so that the money can be diverted for this reconstruction project, and there is proof. What should the global community do right now?
See, Pakistan is known to be diverting funds for terrorism, and this is not only known, but is also documented earlier as well, as far as their loans which they get from various international agencies. Now, this time also, it is exactly the same situation which is going on, but it is also documented earlier as well, as far as their loans which they get from various international agencies. Now, this time also, it is exactly the same situation which is going on, and the countries which are helping Pakistan by loans, giving the conditions which they try to pose, whether it was the relief earlier because of the natural calamity, and this time because of various conditions, they had floods this time as well, and that was being given as the justification of loan at that point of time. Now, unfortunately, despite all that, FATF has not been able to link the diversion of funds. They keep talking about it in every time they release the money, and every time they do not put them in the grey list. Right. But then that is what is happening. So therefore, what is required is not only by us and by others as well, document the entire thing, and hopefully if we can get more evidences, these evidences have to be flagged in front of FATF.
Absolutely.
Because if FATF puts them in the grey list, then they do not get the loans.
And that
if they don't get the loans, then the diversion doesn't take
And that
place.
is why it becomes incumbent on the global community to take note of the sabut that Indian agencies have always flagged off. Right now, it is a rebuilding project, and most shockingly, in the name of flood relief, funds are being collected to rebuild terror headquarters. Thank you so much, Shashi Asthana, for joining us on this broadcast. Rishabh, thank you for breaking down all the details. This is Times Now super exclusive. With that, it's time for us to take a short commercial break.